The video you're watching is concerning Rust Legacy by Crimson Rust. I've done a video about this before. Crimson Rust, the website, and the product went through a period of time where they made a change and didn't bother having the updater work with it. Totally wouldn't happen again. So anyway, running the Rust updater, because it stopped working on their servers, running it as an administrator and doing everything normally like I would, it said the updater has stopped working. That has nothing to do with the website. It just does not work either on my operating system or because it updated just enough to kill itself. And it said, Rust updater has stopped working. A problem caused the program to stop working correctly. Please close the program. Pretty simple. Now, I had downloaded this from the Crimson Rust webpage, but I decided, okay, I'm going to go back and download it again. So I went there to crimsonrust.eu, download, and I had to use a newer browser because the website, totally not foreshadowing, is using Cloudflare. Old man yells at Cloudflare. And it's putting up a really special thing up that it does not want you to go to the page and look at the website unless you use a newer browser. Okay, it must have had a major update. The page didn't update. It's just being more bitchy. When I go there, it has the exact same links to the same older file I downloaded. So thinking this might be a problem and knowing for a fact that downloading it doesn't have any viruses or malware. And again, it's just a repackaged version of rustupdater.exe's version that you can download from their page. I went ahead and looked at the Google Drive version and the mega.nz version. And I downloaded the Google Drive one, just to see if that would be any different. And the files hashed as being identical, so it isn't any different. So instead of just, instead of making us run an updater, just put up a brand new version of it, because you've now done 2 revisions to crimsonrust.eu's downloaded version of this, but you still have the same old file from last year that won't let you use your services. Okay. And I also went to crimsonrustlegacy@gmail.com, sent them a message through their webpage version, and I'm sure that'll work out beautifully. Now, what is this video about? Okay, if you're not aware of it, Rust Legacy is a video game that was available through Steam, the distributor, from Christmas time 2013 to Christmas time 2016, and then it was removed. And after that, you could legitimately get it running if you had already purchased it. It would still be in your list of things that you'd had enabled or authorized or Digital Millennium Copyright Act activated or whatever. But the only way to really get it working after that point reliably was to download the version that would be cracked. But at that point, since you can't download it or pay for it, what you would have is you would be downloading the raw files and just altering them to where they stopped asking Steam for anything, stopped going through Steam for approval, and just ran if there was a server that would let it work. Coincidentally, the server files were available from 2013 through 2016, and I've got a few of them recently I'm going to be testing to see how new they are. And those also just needed the same exact patch, and suddenly it didn't consult with Steam anymore for authentication. It just worked. And, of course, then you had to apply another patch to tell it to stop asking all of the users if they had authenticated theirs through Steam, because, again, Steam wasn't letting you do so after a while. And as of today, I still don't know if you can manually download it through any of the depot downloads through Steam CMD, Steam command. But anyway, that being said, the Rustuge, Rust uj.cz version, I'm presuming at this point that it won't let me run the updater either because something broke. Now again, it's just coincidental. Old man yells at Cloudflare. The Cloudflare page is now making it to where normal browsers can't go there. There's nothing different about the website. It's just that the Cloudflare routine has been made to be exclusionary. I want to point out that I couldn't find anybody playing on the servers anymore. Again, just like the last time they pulled this bullshit, where they made it to where none of their own users that were using the program that they downloaded from their page on their crimsonrust.eu download page which it's the same one from a long time ago when it didn't work. It still doesn't work. Also, because anything derived from it has the same code base, including another one that's a Rust Leak Gamer Zone version, because it's just a copy of Crimson Rust, which in and of itself is a copy of Rustouge. Yeah, it doesn't work either on their servers. So nobody can play because, again, they did some update, and it demands an update. But I guess we have to go on Discord again. Tell me your tell me your project is all about getting Discord clicks, and it's a scam without saying it's a Discord click scam. It really looks like somebody desperately wanting to make it all about Discord. And as I have a video where I put up where using Discord for tech support is like a middle finger to your users, it really is. All you have to do on your page is, again, it's just yet another Google Drive or mega.nz upload. Just put up the updated version off of crimsonrust.eu/download. Just put up a link to the newer copy so we don't have to go through this. And make your damn updater work correctly. Yeah, but you're supposed to... This is a video game from 2013 that was written to work on Windows XP. And you're demanding we run Windows 11 or something, but you're not saying it. Or you're demanding we keep going through Discord. I went through this with rustlegacy.eu at one point, and they weren't going to update it until I made a video complaining about it, and then suddenly the updater worked just fine. I'm not an influencer. Another one that was Rust Relic, I think it was Rust Relic, I complained about their Trust Me Bro installer being obfuscated and being not trustworthy. And guess what? The project's gone. Because only 5 people need to hear it for 5,000 people to hear it through the grapevine. People start realizing, yeah, I can't unzip it or uncrack it or rip it open with anything conventional when literally every one of your competitors, oddly enough, including Crimson Rust, all just use straight up generic zip or RAR files. They don't have these problems. These are portable video game files. These are portable apps. There's no reason to do this. There is no technical reason for that. When you hear a technician say that, you should become suspicious of the motivations. So again, when running Rust Updater as an administrator, or not, and doing a bunch of other things to try to force it to work, all it said is it stopped working, a problem caused it to stop working, close the program, and it didn't even spit out any kind of output like saying, oh, our website is or our server for our update, which will probably just be a couple of files. It's almost always just 1 or 2 DLLs they update it with. Our website at crimsonrust.eu isn't working with the updater that's written for it because we're using fucking Cloudflare or something. I mean, really. I mean, where else are they going to store it? Some of the iterations of this kind of stuff are done through GitHub, but at least it works. Some of them are done by just having it look up the updated link on the download page and just running it by downloading it, since it's essentially a RAR file or a zip file. It can use a web-based untar or decompressor routine or deflate routine. There's a bunch of them. To dynamically just grab the files. It would probably use the Google Drive link, but that one wants to be a stream. And mega.nz definitely wants to be a stream, a blob file format. But there is a protocol for that if you give it a special key, right? And again, most of the time, it's not updating anything other than its lists of how to work a special protocol where it has an extra IP address port number, the colon after the IP address, that extra numbers. They can have extra numbers afterwards. Maybe that's what it's doing. That's what happened last time, right? And again, I stopped using the Crimson Rust client. I mean, it's still sitting on the drive, but I stopped using it because it kept getting bitchier and bitchier about different servers. And it's not, oh, this is an incompatible version. No, it's not. You're using a different protocol, or you're making it to where it has to be compatible because of a single, basically a binary, like our DLL file or a bin file. So yeah, if any of you at Crimson Rust are watching, which nobody watches my channel. Oh, wait a minute, I got a threat to have a lawsuit against me by somebody on the Rust Relic group. If you put out a really cool project, don't make it a rarefied exclusive environment where only an in-crowd can use your product. Okay, I'll get to the point. Rust Legacy is a dead video game. For about 3 days, the servers were hopping. There was like 150 players. The most I've ever seen before that was 200 or 300 players when I first got into this a year or two ago. Every time you do a project where you create stumbling blocks to make it to where you can deliberately reduce the user base, guess what happens? You reduce the user base. Meanwhile, oddly enough, on rustlegacy.eu, where they don't pull this bullshit, they only did like an error and they fixed it as fast as they could, they don't have this problem. It's literally not a problem. But because other derivatives are doing this, I'm going to be doing a rustouge test because I'm going to see if that's what's going on. If it's really just that it has to get in contact with rustouge.cz and download the latest patch from there, okay. Well, at that point, it's not your product being updated. It's you deciding to update your servers to require some other project to be used. At that point, shouldn't you just point people to the other project that's actually maintaining itself? By the way, really neat, when I go to the page, it's mostly about, hey, would you like to buy, 50,000 wood and 50,000 rock and blah, blah, blah. Why don't you just put a big crypto stamp on your page and just tell us what you really are doing here? Anyway, okay, I'll stop being insulting. If you're working with the crimsonrust.eu group, I'm being snide and obnoxious here, but really, this is the second time in 6 months. Why? It's a video game from 2013. There's nothing to update. Except, okay, well, what is it? And again, I know it's going to be a Discord link I'm going to have to go look up. I know. We all know it's always about the Discord. Because Discord is perfect for this kind of shit. Anyway, I'll still be working on my little projects in the background, trying to fuse together the server and client and try to fix some things in it that I think are stupid, like making it to where it stops saying the word chicken breast and just says meat, steak or something like that. I don't know. Chicken. Pigs produce chicken. Anyway, but yeah, chicken steaks versus pig steaks. Isn't that hamming it up? So that's it for today's video. This is just a dumb thing to have to see. And again, it says right there, run, Rust Updater. Okay, well, Rust Updater won't let you run it unless you do something. Well, you're fixed for it. I saw this on another comment. Well, all you have to do is install this patch to make it where I did. It doesn't do that. That doesn't fix it. What, are you just telling people to upgrade to Windows 8 or 10 or 11? What is this really based on? Because a programmer that knows what they're doing here would just say, oh, it's because of this specific function. Well, you could just, if it's an updater that's just going to download either a couple of files or a whole brand new download, it's just a downloader. Mod it to where it works on older operating systems. Again, this is a game that was written originally to work on XP. I don't get why this is happening. Now, obviously, I'm wrong. I'm stupid. This is a problem. I'm an idiot. Go ahead and say it. But if you're going to have the minimum system requirement be Windows 11 or Windows 8 or Windows 10 or whatever it is, say so. But the game still says, and it still says this, Windows XP, even though you're obviously not going to let it work under that probably, right? Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. I'm going to end the video now. Bye.